There's been a lot of books, especially like Oprah's Book Club, for instance. This is like the Biddeford accent version of
Yes.
Oprah's Book Club. One book that I find very helpful, it's called There Are No Accidents. It is Synchronicity and the Stories of Our Lives by Robert Hopke. And just excellent book. And there are no accidents. Let's break that down, what that means. There are no accidents in life.
There are none. There are absolutely none.
Everything happens for a reason. You know that tag phrase, everything happens for a reason? It's so true. Whether it be the positive or negative experiences of your life, there is a lesson to learn in each of those. But obviously when we're going through maybe a negative experience, we're not going to be like, oh, I'm so thankful that this bad thing happened to me. No, you're not going to do that. You're going to be in that humanistic, emotional state, which all of us go through, no matter what experience you go through. Maybe it's a breakup, just as simple as a breakup. You know, you would think at the onset of it, oh my God, my world has just collapsed. This person that I trusted, I was vulnerable with, broke my heart. Yeah. And you go through those experiences, but once you're through that kind of emotional turmoil, then you kind of can put yourself in a third-party perspective, take a step back from the emotional state, and realize what is it that I can take away from this experience to benefit my life moving forward. You know, maybe it was a trust issue. Maybe it was a communication breakdown. Not saying that you did something necessarily wrong, but that you're learning something from it. Whether the person did something wrong, or maybe it was a mutual thing. No matter what, don't put your ego involved. Don't say, oh, well, I didn't do anything wrong. There's nothing I need to learn. Well, there was something that you can learn from it, even if you didn't necessarily do something wrong. And so when there are no accidents, even those bad things, it's really hard to kind of analyze, though, and say, oh, I really love those bad experiences. But something that I will say in my own life, I'm appreciative of the experiences that have really challenged me because it has made the person I am today.
That's right.
And so while
you're young, so you've got
a young whippersnapper. But I have gone through a lot of experiences. Yeah. A lot of positive and negative. And while I love the positive ones, the negative ones have shown me something internally about myself that I didn't know.
They're your lessons.
And you know that in certain experiences that keep popping up in your life, there's a lesson you're not learning. And that's why you see people continually enter into abusive relationships because they're not learning the lesson.
That's right.
They end a relationship that it was really abusive, and then they find the same kind of guy, the same kind of woman. That it's basically the same. It's like a sheep in wolf's clothing, sort of wolf in sheep's clothing.
I got a daughter like that.
Yeah. But they don't get it. A lot of people just don't see it because they're not taking a step back and really analyzing their life. So it really kind of ties into this idea that there are no accidents.
Right.
Pay attention about what's going on around you. Don't just do the daily hustle and bustle. Stop and smell the roses and realize what is happening in your life. Because if you do that, you'll be able to take that lesson and apply it.
An excellent book on how to live in the now.
A lot of people live in the past.
Oh my goodness, yes.
They live in regret. They look back and they're like, oh, I wish I could do that differently. And it's so important for you to realize
and that's where they're grounded, in the past.
And they're living in the past.
Yes.
And it's one of those things, they can't move forward. They can't get out of their current job situation. They can't get out of their personal relationships because they're in a different state of mind.
Right.
And so it's so important to realize that you have to close that chapter in your life. Recognize, like we mentioned earlier, recognize the lesson in the past and move forward. You have to be progressive in your thought process when it comes to that. Because why live back there when you could be enjoying experiences now? It's like that song by Chris Allen, who was an American Idol, live like you're dying. Live like today is the last day sort of thing. Yeah. It's like, and it's hard to do that sometimes, but you really, in order to enjoy life, in order to get every possible experience out of this, you're basically, life is an orange. You're juicing that orange and trying to get as much out of it as humanly possible. At the end, you're left with this shrivelly pulp, right? But in the meantime, you get to drink up, honey, because that is life.
That is.
You are trying to get every last drop out of that orange.
Right.
That is your life. And for so many people, they're focusing on the shriveling up part and not the drinking of the juice. And it's so important.
Analogy.
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
I guess so.
I should write a book. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you should write the book. But this one's going to lead you out of the woods or wherever you need to go. But it's the brighter one.
And sometimes it's the path less taken.
That's right.
And sometimes, everybody might be going left, but you might feel instinctively, I really need to be going right here. Yeah. And we're not necessarily talking about an actual path. We're talking about your life journey, and that there are experiences in there that you feel that gut feeling. And I'm not saying necessarily that gut feeling, leading into the Iraq War, but it's the gut feeling of, something like, there are some things that you have to actually analyze and rational thinking. But in other experiences of your life, you get that feeling of, this doesn't seem right, or this does seem right to you. Mm-hmm. I will give you an example on a smaller scale. Throughout high school, I visited different colleges to see what was right for me. Mm-hmm. I visited a lot of the bigger schools, Emerson, Ithaca, Syracuse. And the thing that I gathered at some of the big ones is there was this feeling like I didn't belong there. Like it just didn't feel right to me. And it took me to go to Linden State College. When I visited there, it was like this overwhelming sensation of, I know this is where I need to be. Even though it's smaller than the other schools, it has less name credibility, but I knew that this is the right move. I couldn't really put my finger on why. I just felt it. It was a feeling. And then once you train yourself in feeling in tune with yourself, your body will tell you what is happening, whether it be good or bad. Mm-hmm. And that's why a lot of doctors, like mainly spiritual doctors, will explain certain diseases based on problems in your life. Maybe you're ticked off a lot, and then you have a urinary problem. Whoa! Go figure. And so it's one of those things where listen to what your body's telling you. Listen to your feelings. Listen to but you could still have rational thought. You don't want to just, enter into a preemptive war for no particular reason. If you're president of the United States. But it's one of those things where, you know what to do. You really do. Which is another book that we have, right?
Oh,
we have loads of books.
You had to.
I had to bring it up. See, it was a good tie-in.
I was just going to tell you that it was like the path was taken. Listen to that gut feeling, because that's you. Don't listen to the ego. The ego comes in and says, "Oh no, you can't do that. Who do you think you are?" So you say goodbye. It was nice knowing you. You're here for a good reason, but I don't need you right now. Don't listen to the ego. Please, everybody.
It's like Peter Pan's shadow. It's like,
oh, it's awful.
Honey, when I want your shadow, I will let you know.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. They called to me. I thought my heart was just going to pop out of my chest.
That usually only happens when you meet me. But yes.
I know it
so
does.
This was a unique
you're my
one.
mountain.
Right.
So it's those moments that you have to grab onto and find out, why did that make you feel so good?
To sum up that kind of section that we're talking about is a quote from another book. There is no failure, only divine redirection.
That's right.
Yeah. And that is
so
from
true.
Ching-Ning Chu's Do Less, Achieve More, which you could take that out of context. But I really do like this. Discover the hidden power of giving in. And I do want to mention this because you mentioned, what was it, Tom, Dick, and Harry is your phrase, the, finding out, trusting yourself as opposed to trusting those around you. Sometimes we do have to, and it mentions this, getting rid of old friends. Sometimes people around you are actually causing more problems for you because you're listening to the wrong people. You've surrounded yourself with the wrong energies.
That's what I was just going to say. Yeah. If you notice, I've got two people that I love them dearly, but their energy, every time they come, even on the phone, one called me last night, and their energy just sucks it right out of you, and you don't want that. Those people you want to stay away from. Be nice.
Right.
See if you can help, but they're sucking your energy out, and that is not good for you.
A lot of times that happens at work, where you notice where you're working in a place, and some colleagues, you notice you naturally feel tired after you interact with them or after a long day. It's for a reason. It's because they tend to have more of a negative personality. You notice the people that are always kind of whining at work or complaining about their job, it's very draining for you. I feel it too when people are doing that. Yeah. But a good way to sum this up, I really like this quote from this book. Let the eagles and dragons enter into your life and begin soaring among the heights and mountain peaks with them. Leave the old rat pack standing on the low plains of mediocrity. Yeah. And that sums it up. Yeah. Like sometimes we are moving at a faster pace in terms of learning the lessons in our life than our friends. And as a result, you don't want to be brought down, you want to be brought up. Yeah. And it's not necessarily that they're bad and you're good, it's just, it's different. It's that you need to surround yourself with people that are continuously going to bring you to that next level, that challenge you on a personal level or maybe even a professional level, but also bring you to a higher point where then you can get to the next point, and maybe maybe those new set of friends aren't going to catch up. It's not necessarily meaning that you can't have a best friend for life. It just means there's going to be shifts. And you can't be upset when those shifts occur, and you have to recognize them.
You can't be upset when those shifts are chasms.
And so many people fail to understand that and do something about it. They'll be like, oh, I'm going to make excuses for these people because I've been with them X amount of years, blah, 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 blah. But I know that they're trouble. I know that they're not a good influence, but they're my friends. Or maybe even family members. That's even true. But you can't really pick your family members, but there are people that you can gravitate away from or not talk to.
You can gravitate away from your family.
It depends.
I have.
Right. Well, I mean, it's hard for people, I think. I mean, it's one thing to gravitate away.
It's not hard when they're always bringing you down.
Right. It's not that you're disowning people.
No,
it's just
you're
that
not
you're just
you
not
could be
focusing
nice
as
to
too
them.
much. Right.
You can be nice to them when
If
they're
you
around.
have to have Thanksgiving, it's one of those things.
Some
God only knows that turkey gets me every time. Stuff that breast. But yeah, I think it's important to recognize who's around you. Okay, it's getting to that awareness part.
Let's see what kind of energy you got. People have energy. Everybody has energy. I went to the Arthur Ford Academy down in Miami, and to learn how to feel people's energy. Sometimes you can see it if you can see auras. There's a lot of people born that you see colors around people. I thought it was natural, but come to find out it's not natural. But you can change. You can teach yourself to see those auras because it's the energy that you were born with. And if you want to, you shake your hands off. You're getting rid of your energy. Do the same thing. And what you're doing, hold your hands up. And now, as you bring your hands together slowly, you can feel the energy. And you can play with it.
You're tickling me, darling. You're tickling me.
You feel it, right?
Right.
Well, you can feel that energy all over a person's body. You don't have to touch them at all. You can feel it. Sometimes it's out here. Sometimes it's real close. When it's real close to somebody, it usually means they're uptight, something's wrong. They're on that negative side. But when they're out here and they're glowing out here, it's like they're in tune with themselves. They are throwing out good energy for everyone.
And even if you don't want to do the hand thing, it's a feeling that you get when you're around somebody.
Yes.
If it's starting to drain you, that's not a good energy to be around. But if it's uplifting you and it's almost seeming to give you some more energy, you know that that's probably a person you could be around more often.
Right.
It's somebody that is going to be more positive, more uplifting in your
You're
life.
so eloquent. I love this.
So it is important to recognize that. I know that I've had to make some tough choices when it comes to my circle of friends periodically. If it's not working out, when it comes to recognizing that I need to move to this step and they're staying down on this level, I need to gravitate away from that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's hard. It really is, especially when you care about somebody. It's just, you have to do it for you. Because at the end of the day, this is your life. This isn't somebody else's life. And the same goes for if you're in a relationship. This is not your partner's life. This is yours. You have to have your individuality. You have to have your independence, because no one can live your life besides you. You hold the keys in the car of life on the highway of self-discovery. You have to do it. You have to be that driver, okay? And it's hard for sometimes. It really is. I mean, that's a lot of self-responsibility that we're instilling. But when you do it, you'll feel much better. You will gain much more success either on the personal or professional level when you do that.
Yes, you will.
And that is really leading into our last book that I really want to talk about, The Secret by Rhonda Byrne.
Oh, yeah.
Great book. And not just because Oprah recommended it. I actually read it way before Oprah caught her attention. And it's based on a lot of concepts that were developed way before.
And when it came out, it was so funny. I was sitting watching it on TV and what all they were saying, because I watched that whole program. Mm-hmm. And it was like I was sitting there and I was thinking, damn, I knew all this in the 70s. And it's just now coming out?
Well, I find that interesting because I talk to a lot of people when I mention this very lightly, because sometimes a lot of people are a little skittish when I talk about it, or anybody talks about it. I mention that how when I first learned about some of this stuff, it was like an awareness. It was like you mentioned, I already knew it, but I really couldn't put into words what it really was. I just kind of felt that that's what I believed in, because I had never really been into the whole organized religion. I wanted my own set of beliefs. I didn't want to be told my beliefs. And so that's why I gravitated away from what my family did. I grew up with a family of Catholics, and they were very kind of systematic in their approach to believing in things, and I didn't like that. I wanted to believe what I believed. Not what a book told me, not what anything else. Even with these books, I take it with a grain of salt, and that goes for anything. You know, when you're reading these books or any books that kind of give you tips, you have to maybe cherry pick of what is good for you. You know, what do you believe
What
internally?
resonates with you?
Exactly.
It's got to resonate here.
Right. And if it's not for you, that's perfectly okay. It's just, you know, it's a potential. A potential awareness of your life. And so when I read and watched the movie of The Secret, it really made a lot of sense to me. Your thoughts create your reality.
Yes, they do.
You know, if
That's
you always,
getting into your positive.
Yeah, if you always continue to put out negative thoughts, oh, I hate my job, I hate this. What do you
Negative
think?
attracts negative.
What are you attracting to yourself? You're going to be attracting those same experiences, those negative experiences. So let's reverse that. Let's have a positive attitude, even if it may be difficult. That's not an easy thing to do, to always be positive. It's a challenge. But life isn't easy. You have to put in the hard work, and you get rewarded for that. The universe then returns the favor. And so you're putting out those positive vibrations. You know, I'm not going to be in my work. I love my work. I love what I do. And I will continue to be, I love what I do. I'll look in the mirror and be like, let's have those positive affirmations. I am happy, successful.
You have to do
blah, blah, blah,
that.
blah, blah. You know those positive affirmations you see in movies sometimes? I know Steve Carell in that movie, Evan Almighty, he did it. I am powerful, I am successful, blah, blah, blah. It was so funny the way he did it, but it's so true. It sounds silly to think about that, and you don't have to do it in front of a mirror, but it's one of those things where...
I think the mirror helps.
It does, because you're you know, looking at yourself, and you're almost like an internal thing as well, but when you wake up in the morning...
But haven't you noticed how it changed?
That's true. Yeah.
It changed. You know, you keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it, and then after a while, it's like, oh, yeah.
It starts to click, and you
It's
start
there.
to realize, you know, the benefits of having those positive
Oh,
affirmations.
yeah.
I mean, I would use the same example for someone who is really religious in an organized religion, who pray. I mean, if you're praying,
Yes.
you're focusing on wanting to do better or wanting to help somebody else. The same goes for positive affirmations. You are just putting out there your intention for something to happen. I really want to do this. The two most powerful words in the universe are I am.
That's right.
I am successful. I am powerful. I am da 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 da. I am healthy. And saying those things, you start to feel it, and your body will respond. It's very flexible when in terms of your thought process. And it's been scientifically proven. The scientists have tested this. When you have those positive vibrations in your body tends to feel better. It does. There's a chemical balance thing that happens when you do that. And it's
Because it's
really
not throwing
fascinating.
out all the stressors.
Right. When you're not, your body already has enough stresses as it is in life that you don't need to be complicating it with negative vibrations when it comes to your thought process.
Right.
And so it's so important that you just recognize your own power. People are so powerful. They just have to tap into that inner light that they have. Each and every one of us has that inner light.
Yep.
It's just recognizing that we have it, tapping into it, and applying it to our lives.
I recognized yours the first day I met you.
Well, that's perfect. That's great.
Nice.
And it ties into, you know, self-determination. It ties into being independent. It ties into being successful in your personal and professional life. All of that. Because at the end of the day, it's about being happy. It's about living life, not squeezing that juice, honey, taking that orange of life, squeezing every possible drop of that liquid of life and drinking up, not focusing on the shriveling orange, but the juice part. Living your life, not just going through the motions.
Yes.
There's a big difference. There is. And so, you know, waking up, I have to go to work. I have to go home and be with my boyfriend. Blah, 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 blah. No, you don't have to do it. You want to do it. I want to go to work today because I'm going to have a great day. I want to see my partner because they make me happy. I want to do this. I want to do that. Because at the end of the day, it is about you. That's not being selfish. This is your life. Let's live it. Let's live it together. Let's experience these things. Let's learn the lessons in both the positive and the negative, and let's have a good life.
Oh, you have to do.
And that gets to that other thing of you already know what to do. Just do
Yes.
it. There's no time like the present to make changes. Because, I mean, I know with New Year's resolutions, I always do this. I'm going to start exercising. I'm going to go to the gym.
Yeah,
I never end
right.
up doing it, right? It's one of those things where it's difficult, right? I love carbs too much. It's just one of those things. Give me a cake and a spoon and I'm ready to go. But you know you have to do it, right? You have to go to the gym. So it's one of those things where it's like a New Year's resolution, but you need to start today. Because if you don't start today, like those New Year's resolutions, you won't ever do them. They fall on the promises that are not kept. So start today. Make those little adjustments. It's not like a lot of work in the beginning because it's just saying, okay, let me change how I think about this particular situation, change how I think about the perceptions of this interaction or person, and slowly but surely, you will recognize that you have the power to change.
Yes, you
That's
do.
really what it comes down to. Change we can believe in, but internally, not necessarily in the political sense.
Right.
So if this is completely new to you, and you just kind of want to check it out and get your feet wet, dip your toe into the water to see if it's too warm or not. The secret is really, I think, for you. And if books are not your thing, because sometimes I don't like to read, believe it or not, I like the book. I mean, I like the movie version. And so, I mean, I hate to say that, but we live in that day and age of that 21st century kind of instantaneous
Listen, that movie version of this
gratification.
was just as good.
Right. So there's a secret.
You can
do it
follow
on
it along with the
Netflix or,
book.
online. Yeah, get the movie version. Because I mean, we are in that instant gratification society where we need to be visual people, and so if you have to watch the movie, that works too. So, but yeah. So we have to wrap up the show, Mickey. We're running out of time,
We do,
as
do
usual. Once we get talking, we really can't stop.
I know. I just found a note to myself in
Oh,
there.
that's always good to know. You should find money in the book. Sometimes
That
people
would be
leave money in the
No,
books.
I never do that.
Oh, jeez.
Dang.
I already checked these out to see if you left them in.
You already did. Okay.
But it's been fun.
It has been.
It's something we could probably talk about days after. I mean, like literally, we could do a string of shows on this. But we just wanted to kind of give you an overview.
Have a safe trip.
There's a hurricane, so hopefully I'll make it back.
Yeah.
Hurricane Irene.
Study hard.
Yes.
Okay. Make me
And
proud.
play hard, too.
Make me proud.
Yeah, definitely.